Gara is a great early game frame. She can do almost anything, and she does it well. She has great survivability, great defense capability, and she has great room clear with her exalted weapon, the Shattered Lash. So let's talk about her. You get Gara from completing the Sire's Vigil quest. This awards your main blueprint, and this quest is unlocked around the time you get to the Plains of Eidolon. Now her components drop from tier 1, 2, and 3 bounties on the plains. Right, these are fairly easy bounties, and not only do they drop her blueprints, but they're also great farms for other mods as well. So let's talk about what she does. Right? So, her passive, there's a 15% chance on ability cast to blind enemies around you. This is great. Now let's talk about her 1. You tap, you throw a line of glass forward, dealing puncture damage. And when you hold, you swipe across, dealing slash damage. Now this is her main DPS ability, and this can do really good, especially into higher levels. Right? This is great at all levels of play, but it's an exalted weapon, it's great. Splinter Storm 2. This is her main survivability. Right? Glass shards will swirl around Gara, dealing damage to any enemy that touches them, and they also provide damage reduction up to a cap of 90%. Now, the build you're seeing on screen, this is also supplemented with Arcane Aegis, which allows you to get shield regen. Now, because you get so much damage reduction, you basically take no damage once Aegis activates together with your 2. This makes her really strong. So the footage you're seeing right here is me infinitely stacking the damage on her 2. So when you cast her 4 and break it with your 1, it adds damage to your 2. Now this damage stacks infinitely. As you can see, I'm just walking near level 160 steel path enemies, and they kind of just die from the damage alone. In long missions, this can stack up to really high and does really good. Now her 3, Spectre Edge. This creates a hall of mirrors that enemies will get distracted by and target the mirrors. Once they break, they deal damage and can add damage to your 2. I never use this ability. I think it's useless. That's just me. I'm sure there are people who like it. I don't. Now, let's talk about her 4. Mass Vitrify. This creates an expanding ring of glass around Gara. And the longer you hold it, the further it expands. And enemies who are touched by the ring as it expands becomes crystallized. Now, even though it looks like a ring, the glass is segmented, meaning that if enemies shoot one specific area, the whole thing doesn't expire. It just kind of breaks in that one specific area, creating an opening. You can also cast this in the air to create a really tall ring, but it'll still break all the same. If at the bottom, it'll break in segments, right? If you recast this, the new ring breaks the old ring. Now, if you have your 2 active, and break it, this will add the damage to the 2. It also refreshes your 2. So let's talk about her builds, right? So, pretty simple. This is a fairly easy build to put together for endgame. This is no former for our endgame setup. Now, I don't like her 3, so I subsumed over it. I use Archon Stretch because if you have electricity on your 1, it counts as ability damage and gives you the energy regen. So, that's good. I also have a ton of range because the range affects the melee range of your 1. Now, if you wanted to, you could former and put in just a bit more strength so that Augur Secrets is not the only strength that you have. So you have a little bit more to reach the 90 cap at the start of the mission, but I run multi-augmented because I like having the extra scaling strength for my 1 and my 4's damage as well. It's not needed, but since I also run raw, the extra strength also scales up to give me a much better damage bonus later on in missions, so that's also something. But for subsumes, you could do basically anything. It does not matter. Aegis is something I would recommend that you keep on though. Now for the more newer player friendly build, this is what I would recommend you do. This maxes out the 90% DR at the start, and Dreamers is something everybody has. So this makes it really easy to use Gara. This could take you to the entire star chart and even well into early steel path, right? And with the Jade event being on right now, Aegis is very easy for players to get. So I recommend that you do the Jade event and get Aegis, as this is kind of what pushes the build into a new territory of just being completely immortal. You will take almost no damage, and you'd find it very hard to die on Gara, even with something as simple as this. Another recommendation for Aura is Ready Steel. It'll let you start the mission with a 2x combo for Shattered Lash, meaning that you can get your damage up front really quickly. But yeah, now for just a short demonstration for it. This is with Aegis. You can see I still don't die that quick, and this is still Steel Path with the newer player build. I'm still kind of walking around a bit because if I stand completely still, I will die. But if you actively try to kill things with the Aura set bonus, you'll restore shields, and you're pretty tanky, right? You won't really die that quick. And keep in mind, this is without Aegis as well, and Gara's fine with as little mods as you saw. Gara's just fine. So, what other arcanes can you run on Gara? Basically anything. I would say Aegis is something that you should always kind of keep on, but you could run things like Barrier too if you want. Barrier is more expensive, and Aegis is significantly more consistent in my opinion. But for survivability, I think Aegis is just kind of needed. Now, Mold Augmented is something you don't have to run. If you want, you could run things that would supplement things like your one, like Arcane Strike or the other melee damage Arcane. You could also run things like Consequence if you want more parkour velocity. The options are really up to whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. Your second Arcane. Gara is just one of those frames that you can kind of do anything on. There is also one other kind of not as consistent build that I could also recommend. It's running Avenger with Combat Discipline, since Gara has a D polarity by default. It is something you can do. However, it's okay. Like as you'll see now, it's not the best thing in the world. It's not the best thing, but you get the extra crit rate and the crit chance on it. And it does affect your one, and you'll have it for all your abilities. It's fine. It's fine. I wouldn't really use it. You do so much damage with your one just by default. And in the build that you're gonna see, I don't even have all the mods on Shattered Lash, and I'm still doing a ton of damage even before I put Avenger on. So I mean, the Dreamers is just good because you get so much out of it. Just the energy regen alone is enough to keep your economy up really well. Combine that with the energy economy from Archon Stretch, and it's great. Concentration is something you can also run if you just want moderation to keep your abilities up longer. And obviously Energize is always good. And Strike and Fury also affects your one. So let's talk about the Shatter. Let's talk about one Shatter Lash. Right. Simply put, this build is legit all you need. Right. This is a great endgame setup. And now this is the early game setup. And now let me just show you the damage that a basic early game setup could do. Right? Now this is with the early game build for Gara herself. And the enemies are still Steel Path 160s, right? So, let's look. Once the combo starts building up, and you get the kills on some of the fodder enemies, they kinda just die. Now this is, keep in mind, this is Steel Path enemies. These aren't regular Star Chart enemies. Right, with a simple build, your one kinda does a lot of damage. Once you get up to the 12x multiplier, there isn't really anything that survives, and this scales really well. Alright. And the build is really simple. Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds are both mods you can get really early on into the game. Blood Rush you get from the plains, and Weeping Wounds you get from Deimos. Now for Focus Schools, I recommend Naramon. It'll let your one stay up way longer than it needs to. Meaning that if you don't consistently cast your one, the melee counter will not instantly drop off. It'll slowly decay, meaning you can keep your pot spikes up longer. But if you don't want to run Naramon, you should run Gladiator Rush or any combo duration that you're comfortable with. It'll keep it up for a little bit longer. As for companions, there is no really any specific thing you can run. I run Death Cube most of the time just for the extra energy generation, but Worm is also good. Now, this is just some gameplay, just to show. But Gara really is just that good of a frame that there isn't really much I can say that'll influence how you would play her differently. Gara is someone you get really early on, but can take you all the way into the endgame. Alright, now if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and let me know what you think of Gara.